All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're mapping out what is literally the ultimate geographical road trip. We're following the Israelites on a staggering journey from cruel oppression in Egypt all the way to the holy presence of God in the desert. We are unpacking the entire story of the book of Exodus.
To really grasp the stakes here, we've got to understand the sheer scale of the situation. After 4 centuries in Egypt, the descendants of Jacob haven't just grown, they've multiplied massively. We're talking an estimated 600,000 men. And that's not even counting women and children. This is a massive population, and they are completely trapped under a paranoid new pharaoh's crushing grip.
To make sense of this whole epic journey, we're going to break it down into 5 parts: enslavement and a calling, the 10 plagues and Passover, parting the Red Sea, Mount Sinai and the law, and finally, constructing the tabernacle.
So, part 1, enslavement and a calling. We kick things off in Egypt. That paranoid new pharaoh we mentioned, he looks at this booming Israelite population and sees a major threat. So his solution? He ruthlessly oppresses them with brutal forced labor. And when that doesn't break their spirit, he issues this absolutely horrifying order to throw every newborn Israelite boy into the Nile River.
But out of that profound darkness, a deliverer emerges in literally the most unlikely way possible. A baby boy named Moses is miraculously pulled from that very same river by, get this, Pharaoh's own daughter. He's raised right there in the royal palace, but later, as an adult, he kills an abusive Egyptian slave master, and he has to run for his life to the desert of Midian. He ends up spending decades there as a humble, everyday shepherd.
And that brings us to an unforgettable turning point. When Moses hits 80 years old, God appears to him in just an awe-inspiring way. A burning bush that is on fire but refuses to actually burn up. God calls this now insecure, stuttering shepherd to march right back to Egypt and demand the freedom of his people. And when Moses asks for God's name, he gets this incredibly profound answer: I am who I am.
Which propels us right into section 2, the 10 plagues and Passover. Moses and his brother Aaron actually do it. They deliver the message to Pharaoh, demanding he let the people go. But Pharaoh? He stubbornly doubles down and actually increases their cruel labor quotas. So, the god of slaves officially declares war on the so-called gods of Egypt.
What happens next is the systematic dismantling of an empire. God sends 10 devastating rapid-fire plagues, and the escalation here is just staggering. It moves incredibly fast, from the Nile turning to blood, all the way to this unnatural, suffocating darkness. But throughout all this ruin, God draws a clear line in the sand. He protects his people living over in the region of Goshen, while the entire Egyptian economy and ecology is just completely wrecked.
Now this whole showdown climaxes with the 10th and absolutely most tragic plague, the death of the firstborn. To survive this judgment, the Israelites are given some very specific instructions. They have to act with total urgency. They need to roast a perfect lamb and brush its blood on their doorposts, because when the angel of death sees that blood, it will literally pass over their homes. That's where the name comes from.
Broken and completely defeated, Pharaoh finally gives in. This kicks off section 3, parting the Red Sea. Liberated at last, and carrying the surrendered wealth of Egypt, we're talking gold, silver, clothing. The Israelites march out. But man, their journey to freedom hits a terrifying geographical roadblock almost immediately.
Just imagine the sheer tension of this moment. Pharaoh's heart hardens one last time, and he unleashes his absolute best, an elite army of 600 chariots to hunt them down. The Israelites are completely trapped with their backs to the Red Sea. Total panic sets in. They actually turn around and accuse Moses of dragging them out into the desert just to die. But Moses stands firm and delivers this incredibly powerful line: "The Lord will fight for you and you won't have to do a thing." And then, in this unforgettable, cinematic climax, God parts the sea with a mighty east wind. He literally creates a dry path flanked by these towering walls of water. The Israelites cross safely, but when the Egyptian cavalry tries to pursue them, those watery walls crash right back down, permanently ending the threat of Pharaoh's army.
Now you'd think a mind-blowing rescue like that would cement their faith forever, right? Well, human nature kicks in. The second their stomachs start rumbling in the desert, they begin to grumble. They even start romanticizing their time as slaves. It's crazy. But God mercifully responds, not by wiping them out, but by testing and sustaining them with daily manna. This miraculous, sweet, honey wafer-like bread that literally just falls from the sky to feed them. 2 months into this grueling journey, the vibe shifts dramatically. We enter section 4, Mount Sinai and the Law. They arrive at the foot of Mount Sinai. Fun fact, this is the exact same mountain where Moses saw the burning bush. But now it is completely engulfed in thunder, lightning, and a thick, fiery cloud of God's presence.
It's right here that God establishes a formal covenant agreement. And these foundational laws are so perfectly balanced. The first category lays out absolute loyalty to God, while the second defines the just, ethical treatment of others. They're essentially the core rules designed to shape Israel into a distinct, holy nation that correctly represents him to the rest of the world.
But wow, does this next part perfectly illustrate the stubbornness of the human condition. Up at the summit, Moses is fasting for 40 days, receiving these sacred, life-giving laws carved right into stone. Meanwhile, what's happening at the bottom of the mountain? The people get impatient, they melt down their jewelry, and they build a golden calf. They are quite literally breaking the very first rules about idolatry while the rules are still being written.
The fallout from this rebellion is immediate, and it is severe. Moses comes down, sees this wild idol worship, and just shatters the stone tablets in absolute fury. He draws a line in the sand, rallying those who are loyal to God, which tragically ends in the execution of 3,000 men. It is a really dark day, and it ends with Moses desperately pleading with God to forgive his stubborn people. Amazingly, God does forgive them, and he renews the covenant, which brings us to our fifth and final section, constructing the tabernacle. The last chapters of this explainer shift gears from high-stakes drama to highly detailed blueprints. They are tasked with building a mobile tent, a dwelling place, so that God's holy presence can live right there in the very center of their camp.
And what's so fascinating about this architectural layout is that it's basically a physical map of relationship. It visually walks you through a journey of increasing holiness, starting from the bronze altar out in the courtyard and moving inward to the most holy place. It teaches the Israelites something vital. Approaching the Creator of the universe requires sacrifice, cleansing, and incredibly deep reverence.
Then, in this truly beautiful moment of redemption after the whole golden calf disaster, the people are invited to freely donate materials for the build. And the sheer volume of their giving is staggering. We're talking thousands of pounds of gold, silver, and bronze that they had brought from Egypt. They give so much, in fact, that Moses actually has to issue an official order to make them stop.
And the entire Exodus story culminates right here in this breathtaking scene. Once the tabernacle is perfectly assembled, a thick cloud covers the tent, and the blazing glory of the Lord fills it. The Creator of the universe has actively moved into the neighborhood. He's right there, guiding them by a visible pillar of cloud during the day and a pillar of fire at night.
Which leaves us with a massive, massive question to ponder as we wrap things up. They have the law, they have the tabernacle, and God is dwelling right there in the middle of their camp. God has proven, without a shadow of a doubt, that he can take Israel out of Egypt. But as they look out toward that grueling desert journey ahead to the Promised Land, how long will it take to get Egypt out of Israel? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep that curiosity alive.